Update. Am I the a-hole for calling my husband a disgrace after he said my miscarriage ruined his birthday? Original post. I miscarried yesterday afternoon around 12 p.m. I've never had a miscarriage before, and this baby was so wished for. So it's all so fresh and I'm sobbing right now. So I apologize in advance if it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. My husband turned 27 yesterday. I, 26 female, was pregnant with mine and my husband's second child. Yesterday, I was 8 weeks pregnant. The day before yesterday, we saw a beautiful heartbeat flickering on the screen, and today I'm devastated. I was playing with our 2-year-old when I felt a pressure in my lower abdomen. Not long after, I noticed bleeding, and I let my husband know immediately that I had discomfort and bleeding. Before long, I had passed what I believe was the fetus, and I messaged him, "I think I lost the baby." I wanted to keep him updated, and I guess I was seeking some kind of emotional support. I asked if he could come home, and he said, "Of course, if it's urgent." I said I think it is because the pain and bleeding were getting worse. I was starting to feel lightheaded, and our 2-year-old was unattended in his playroom at the time. We have no friends or family nearby that I could call who would get to us quicker than he could. I had to clean myself up, crawl downstairs to take paracetamol, make my son his lunch, and then put him down for a nap. At this point, my husband still wasn't home. He was working approximately 30 minutes away and took closer to 60 minutes to get back. Hours later, when I asked, it was because he'd stopped at Tesco to pick up some beers. I ended up very unwell, losing lots of blood, lightheaded, vomiting, etc., and he had to take me to A&E. By the time I was discharged, it was almost 8 p.m. Last week, I had said I'd make him his favorite dinner for his birthday, which he reminded me of when we were almost home. I said I wasn't feeling up to it, and that whatever takeaway he wanted was on me. He said for Pete's sake under his breath, and then muttered something along the lines of, "This BS has ruined my birthday." He didn't stop to get any takeaway. He just drove straight home. He put our son to bed, and I went to bed, and I'm not sure what he did after. I didn't see him this morning as he had already left for work. He hasn't messaged me all day, and he got home a few hours ago. It's now 8:40 p.m., and he's been giving me the silent treatment. I tried to speak to him about an hour or so ago, and he ignored me, so I called him a disgrace. He slammed the bedroom door and locked me out of the bedroom. His mom has since messaged me and said I need to be patient as he's also had a loss. She didn't ask how I was or anything. He's obviously speaking to his mom, but why isn't he opening up and speaking to me? She said I was harsh. I'm feeling utterly emotionally neglected right now. My body has been through emotional and physical hell. I understand that my miscarriage came at a freaking inconvenient time for him, as it was his birthday and all. I'm not sure if it's the hormones making me feel crazy, but is it nuts to contemplate divorce? Am I the a-hole for calling him a disgrace? Now for the top comments before reading the update. If it were me, I would leave him over this. Some things you don't come back from, and getting mad at your wife for ruining your birthday because she miscarried and ended up in emergency is on that list. I'd be so repulsed by his selfishness and callousness that the thought of ever touching him again would make me vomit. Not the a-hole, and I can't imagine spending another minute under the same roof as this horrible, immature, cruel man. Yes, the miscarriage of a wanted pregnancy can be a huge loss for a man too, but that doesn't give him the right to be so selfish and treat you so cruelly. Your husband has showed a side of himself he can never hide again. Ask yourself if this is the kind of man you want in your life going forward. I'm so sorry for your loss. Important, you are still at risk of infection at this juncture. It's still dangerous for you. Monitor your bleeding and temperature. Your marriage is over. How long you stay with him is up to you. But this man is neither husband nor father material. He cares more about his wants than your or your child's needs. It just took a crisis like this to show who he really is. Not the a-hole. I'm so sorry you are going through all this. I also have tonsillitis at the moment, so I'm feeling really rough. How will I know if a fever is from that or the miscarriage? I currently have a low-grade fever at 37.9 degrees Celsius, but I'm not sure what it's due to. The bleeding is no longer heavy. I spoke with my doctor yesterday, and because of the bank holiday weekend, I can't have a scan until Tuesday to confirm everything has been passed. I spoke to a pharmacist today who said to try home remedies because he doesn't think it's severe enough for antibiotics at this point, as he could only see 3 white spots on my tonsils. Now for the update. I should have clarified in my original post from last week that the way my husband responded was completely out of character for him. He's usually a caring and supportive man and is a good husband and father. The only incident where he's shown any kind of red flags was when I put together an accent chair. I used a screwdriver to attach the legs to the seat, and when he came home from work and saw that I'd done it myself, he jumped on it until it broke to prove that I hadn't done it properly and that I should have waited for him. He'd been under a lot of stress at work, so I asked him to go to therapy, which he did, instead of immediately pulling the divorce card. We have been together for 7 years this May, and he is the only partner I've ever known. My family all love him and have accepted him from day one. I also should have clarified, yes, I know he was an a-hole in the scenario. I wasn't questioning that. What I was questioning was whether I took it too far by calling him a disgrace. He's going through a lot at work at the moment. It was his birthday. I'd been messaging him and telling him that I'd miscarried his child, and he had to leave work early. Then I called him a disgrace after he took me to the hospital and was processing the grief in his own way. I think the majority of people said I was not the a-hole in this situation, and that due to his behavior, my insult was justified. Thank you to everyone who reached out, checked in, offered condolences, and gave emotional support. I've read all my messages and tried to go through most of the comments. Most of them have been very kind and helpful, and they've helped me a lot over the past few days. I had a scan yesterday that confirmed everything has passed successfully. Some people may remember that I was very worried about retained tissue due to the fever I had over the weekend. Also, my tonsillitis has fully cleared up, so I'm feeling almost back to normal physically. I left my husband. My son and I are staying with family in a different part of the country, so we are safe and managing. My husband did get very angry when I told him I was leaving. He tried to stop me from taking our son, put hands on me, and threatened to end his life. My mom intervened, and like I said, we are safe. I have some time off work now, so I will continue to recover emotionally and plan my next steps. Thank you if you've read this far. I doubt there will be any more updates after this. I'm glad you left him, but I am concerned you'll go back based on how this post is written. You are still speaking about him like he is a good husband and are justifying his behavior. Stop doing that. Make a therapy appointment for yourself. He's not here to defend himself, so I'm trying to make it as fair as possible from both sides, so he's not made out to be a monster. I have a therapy session booked. I will not be returning to him as he's not someone that I want my son to grow up watching and witness that behavior thinking it's normal. He is a monster. Sorry, not sorry. The chair thing is ludicrous. The chair thing is insane. Absolutely bonkers. I'm glad you're safe and you left him. Stress is no excuse for behavior. Being snappy or grumpy is one thing, but his behavior is on another level. He needs serious help. I am totally imaging him jumping on it like an enraged monkey. He had to jump on it to break it to prove her wrong, instead of, just redoing it. I'm not going to lie, I had no idea where this post was going. It seemed like you defended his behavior, then dropped the chair incident on us, then continued to defend him. By the last paragraph, honestly felt like I had whiplash. Regardless, I'm happy you're away from him and are safe because he's definitely not a good person. Stressed or not, that's not how sane people conduct themselves. Please do not let him guilt you into going back to him. He's dangerous. Sorry, I'd like to say that I'm feeling better emotionally, but I'm not. I've kind of just word vomited like it's a diary entry in a sense. I'm going to start journaling from now, so that I'm not just rambling to a load of strangers. Second story. Update. Am I the a-hole for wanting to divorce my husband after he left our newborn and toddler with our teenage daughter while he went out with another woman? Original post. I feel like I need some outside perspective on a really tough situation. My husband and I have been married for 19 years, and we have 3 kids together. a 13-year-old daughter, a 2-year-old, and a newborn. Our journey to parenthood wasn't easy. We faced a lot of fertility struggles, and my husband has been my rock through it all. That's why the situation has hit me so hard. Recently, I started thinking about divorce after I realized my husband had left our young children alone at home while he went out on what appears to be a date with another woman. It's been difficult for me to process everything, and I'm still unsure if I'm overreacting. His parents seem to think it was just a mild mistake, but I honestly find that hard to swallow. A couple of days ago, I decided to take a much-needed me day. I told my husband how I felt, and he agreed I could go out for a bit. I went out with my mom and sister for lunch, a mini shopping spree, and we even got our nails done. It was lovely to have some time to unwind. I left the house around 1 p.m., planning to be back around 6 p.m. My husband was supposed to be at home with the kids, since we didn't have anyone to babysit on short notice. While I was out, I received notifications from our Ring camera. Around 5:50 p.m., I saw something was happening at the front door. I called my husband, who assured me everything was fine and that he was just picking up pizza. I thought nothing of it, knowing he was with the kids. Fast forward to around 6 p.m. when I got another notification that he was back home. Due to the long wait at the nail salon and bad traffic, I didn't arrive home until about 8 p.m. When I got inside, I immediately noticed something was off. My husband's car was gone. I walked into the house to find my toddler playing with spit, and my newborn was crying uncontrollably. My teenage daughter was in tears because she couldn't calm the baby down. I quickly took the baby, changed her, fed her, and got her to bed, checking in with my daughter to see what happened. She told me she didn't know where her dad was, but that he had told her to watch the kids because he had something important to do. I comforted her and reassured her that it was a big task for her to handle alone. I felt awful she had been put in that situation. My husband finally came home around 10 p.m., looking somewhat drunk. When I asked where he had been, he casually claimed he was with his wife and having a good time. It felt like a slap in the face. He took off his pants and acted as if everything was normal, completely dismissing what had just happened. The next day, when I confronted him about his absence, he lied and said he fell asleep at 7:35 p.m. I was furious and called him out for being dishonest, insisting I knew he had been out with another woman. I reached out to my mother-in-law and my own mom for advice, trying to gain some perspective. My mother-in-law minimized it, saying it was a common mistake for men and that I needed to move on for the kids' sake. You know, they need their father at home. I've been doing a lot of soul-searching since that day. Part of me wants to fight for our marriage, to believe we can work through this rough patch. However, another part of me is devastated and feels that I deserve better. I think about filing for divorce, seeking child support, and pursuing full custody of the kids so I can provide them with a stable environment. So here I am, wondering if I'm being the a-hole for even considering divorce. Am I overreacting? Should I be more forgiving because of our history? Or am I justified in wanting to leave this relationship for the happiness and safety of myself and my children? Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. He's cheating on you. Left the kids and came home drunk. Lied about screwing around, and you wonder if you should leave him? Yes. Also, please get tested for STDs. Drunk dudes aren't careful about wearing protection. Not the a-hole. I always wonder how, should I leave my cheating spouse, is even a question. I get there can be extenuating circumstances which may lead people to question, but damn, they cheat and lie. What is there to save? He can't even be honest with OP. Cheating isn't a mistake, it is a choice. OP, your kids can still have their dad in their lives. It's called co-parenting. He doesn't have to live with them 24/7 to be a present parent. It's BS that you are told to suck it up and allow him to disrespect you. You allow it now? He learns it's okay. Also, staying together isn't necessarily what's best for the kids, as your marriage is the example they will have for their future relationships. They will learn it's either okay to cheat or to allow someone to cheat on them and betray trust. Not to mention, 2 happy separate parents are better than 2 miserable married ones. Also, your husband is the a-hole. He seriously went out, left his children unattended, cheated, and got so drunk he actually thought you would believe his "I fell asleep at 7:35. Like you wouldn't know he wasn't there? Either he thinks you are about as smart as a box of rocks, or he actually is. Just shows another way he doesn't respect you or your intelligence." Not the a-hole. I would be seeing a lawyer. He was responsible for the kids and basically abandoned them to get drunk and be with another woman. He's cheating on you. Nothing about this is mild or a mistake. He made a choice to do this. Gain some self-respect and kick him to the curb. He's not a good guy. Now for the update. A lot has gone down, and I appreciate all the advice. My husband and I went back and forth for a couple more days after my last post. I finally got him to watch the video, and it proved he was the one lying while accusing me of it. He kept watching it and coming up with excuse after excuse. I told him that if our marriage fell apart, it would be because of his behavior that night. I asked him a few things. 1. Why did he leave our daughter with the babies? 2. What was he doing? 3. Who was this so-called second wife? All he could say was that I was being too dramatic and that I was not trusting him too much. I shot back, "You broke my trust when you left the babies alone with our kid." I told him he had one chance to come clean, and if he didn't, we'd have to talk about divorce, child support, and everything that comes with it. Still, he stood firm saying, "I didn't do anything." I was so frustrated. I asked him why he couldn't just be honest. His answer, "Why do you think I was cheating? That's not trusting me." I reminded him that he had admitted to being with his wife right in front of me. He said, "I was drunk." I replied that he shouldn't have gone out and gotten drunk without a safe way to get home, while our kids were at home without an adult. He apologized, but that didn't change what he did. I told him his actions damaged our daughter's trust in him, hurt our marriage, and affected our parenting. He just kept pushing his own narrative about that night. On April 17th, he told me I was overreacting and that we should stay together for the kids. I reminded him that he lied to me, called me a liar, put our kids in danger, and wrecked our marriage. Then he snapped and got mad, claiming there was a reason for everything, but still wouldn't tell me what it was. On April 19th, he finally came clean and admitted he's been seeing another woman, referring to her as his second wife. He told me that if I couldn't accept it, then it didn't matter to try and save a marriage that was already falling apart, with only me trying to hold it together. I shot back that since he was the one ruining our marriage and wrecking our lives with this nonsense, then fine, let it fall apart. I told him he'd be the reason our kids wouldn't have a dad in the house because of his selfish, ignorant, and irresponsible behavior. He lied to our daughter about her phone, put our kids in a tough spot, lied to me, destroyed our marriage, and then tried to make me look like the one who's dishonest. Get a copy of the recording you mentioned above. Keep it safe, get an attorney, and get tested for diseases. I am planning on getting an STD test, and I have been looking into a way to get a copy of the ring records and the text messages between us two into a safe place where only me and my lawyer can access it. Get a good lawyer, and don't sign anything he gives you. I'm so proud of you for taking these steps to get away from him. He's a bad father, a bad husband, and a bad man. Please get a good lawyer, and hopefully you can get some alimony and child support because I don't know if he deserves custody if he's willing to leave a child to deal with babies by themselves. Seriously proud of you taking these first steps. I hope everything works out for you and your kids. OP's soon-to-be ex-husband put the kids in danger to go get drunk. Judges tend to dislike that, not the a-hole. And lied. And he'll continue to lie and gaslight.